Sharon Tate was one of Hollywood's brightest rising stars, loved for her beauty and talent. On Saturday, August 9, 1969, shortly after midnight, she was tragically killed at her home on Cielo Drive in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. The attack was carried out by members of Charles Manson's followers, a crime that shocked the entire world and became one of the darkest chapters in Hollywood history. Even today, Sharon Tate is remembered with deep sadness, respect, and love. Rebecca Schaeffer was a young actress with a bright future and a promising career ahead. On Tuesday, July 18, 1989, she was tragically killed at her home in Los Angeles, California. The crime was committed by Robert John Bardo, an obsessed stalker, and it shocked Hollywood and the entire nation. Even today, Rebecca Schaeffer is remembered with deep sadness and respect, and her story remains a powerful reminder of the importance of privacy and safety. Dominique Dunne was a talented young actress whose career was just beginning to shine. After an attack on October 30, 1982, she tragically passed away on Thursday, November 4, 1982, in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. The crime was committed by her ex-boyfriend, John Sweeney, and the tragedy deeply shocked Hollywood and her fans worldwide. Even today, Dominique Dunne is remembered with sorrow and respect as a bright life taken far too soon. Phil Hartman was a beloved actor and comedian, remembered for his talent and unforgettable performances. On Thursday, May 28, 1998, shortly before 3 a.m., he was tragically killed inside his home in Encino, California. The incident involved his wife, Bryn Hartman, and the tragedy shocked fans and the entertainment world. Even today, Phil Hartman is remembered with deep respect and sadness for the joy and laughter he brought to so many. John Lennon was a world-famous icon whose music touched millions of hearts. On Monday, December 8, 1980, at around 10:50 p.m., he was tragically shot outside the Dakota in Manhattan, New York City. The crime was committed by Mark David Chapman, and the news shocked the entire world. Even today, John Lennon is remembered with love, respect, and deep sadness as a legend whose voice will never be forgotten. Selena Quintanilla was one of the most beloved music stars of her generation, known for her powerful voice and bright spirit. On Friday, March 31, 1995, she was tragically shot at a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi, Texas, and was later pronounced dead at around 1:05 p.m. The crime was committed by Yolanda Saldivar, someone close to her circle, and the news devastated millions of fans worldwide. Even today, Selena is remembered with deep love and respect as a shining star taken far too soon. Tupac Shakur was one of the most influential and unforgettable voices in music history. After being shot on Friday, September 7, 1996 in Las Vegas, he tragically passed away on Friday, September 13, 1996 at 4:03 p.m. at the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. The shooting was a shocking attack that left the world in disbelief, and the case has remained unsolved, with the gunman still unknown. Even today, Tupac is remembered with deep respect and love as a powerful legend whose impact lives on forever. The notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, became one of the most legendary voices in music history. On Sunday, March 9, 1997, he was tragically shot in Los Angeles and was later pronounced dead at around 1:15 a.m. at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The attack took place near Fairfax Avenue and Wilshire Boulevard, and the case has remained unsolved, with the shooter still unknown. Even today, Biggie is remembered with deep respect and admiration as a true icon whose legacy will never fade. Gianni Versace was a world-famous fashion icon whose creativity changed global style forever. On Tuesday, July 15, 1997, at around 8:40 a.m., he was tragically shot outside Casa Casuarina, his mansion in Miami Beach, Florida. The crime was committed by Andrew Cunanan, and the shocking news spread across the world within hours. Even today, Gianni Versace is remembered with deep respect as a legendary name whose influence continues to live on. Christina Grimmie was a talented young singer with a bright future and millions of fans around the world. On Friday, June 10, 2016, at around 10:30 p.m., she was tragically shot at the Plaza Live concert venue in Orlando, Florida. She sadly passed away shortly after midnight on June 11th, and the crime was committed by Kevin James Loibl. Even today, Christina Grimmie is remembered with deep love and respect as a beautiful voice taken far too soon. Dimebag Darrell was a legendary guitarist whose talent inspired millions of fans around the world. On Wednesday, December 8, 2004, at around 10:20 p.m., he was tragically shot while performing at the Alrosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio. The crime was committed by Nathan Gale, and the incident shocked the music industry and fans everywhere. Even today, Dimebag Darrell is remembered with deep respect as a true icon whose legacy lives on through his music. Jam Master Jay was a legendary music producer and one of the most important pioneers in hip-hop history. On Wednesday, October 30, 2002, at around 7:30 p.m., he was tragically shot inside his recording studio, JMJ Records, in Jamaica, Queens, New York City. The crime shocked the music world and fans across the globe, and the case remained a major headline for years. Even today, Jam Master Jay is remembered with deep respect as a true icon whose impact on music will never be forgotten. Sam Cooke was one of the most legendary and influential voices in music history. On Friday, December 11, 1964, he was tragically shot at the Hacienda Motel in Los Angeles, California. The shooting involved the motel manager, Bertha Franklin, and the case was later ruled as justifiable homicide, but it still remains one of the most discussed tragedies in music history. Even today, Sam Cooke is remembered with deep respect as a timeless icon whose voice continues to inspire generations. Sal Mineo was a famous actor known for powerful roles in classic films and unforgettable performances. On Thursday, February 12, 1976, at around 10 p.m., he was tragically attacked behind his apartment in West Hollywood, Los Angeles County, California. He was stabbed during the incident, and the crime shocked Hollywood and his fans worldwide. A man named Lionel Ray Williams was later convicted, though the case remained a topic of discussion for years. Even today, Sal Mineo is remembered with deep respect as a talented star taken far too soon. Dorothy Stratton was a rising actress and model whose future looked incredibly bright. In a tragic incident on Friday, August 15, 1980, she was killed in Los Angeles, California, at a private residence. The crime was committed by her husband, Paul Snider, and the shocking news devastated Hollywood and her fans. Even today, Dorothy Stratton is remembered with deep sadness and respect as a young star whose life ended far too soon. Bob Crane was a well-known actor, best remembered for his role in the hit TV series Hogan's Heroes. On Thursday, June 29, 1978, he was tragically found dead in the afternoon at his apartment in Scottsdale, Arizona. The case became one of Hollywood's most talked-about mysteries, and despite investigations, it remains officially unsolved. Even today, Bob Crane is remembered with deep respect as a beloved star whose life ended under tragic circumstances. Lana Clarkson was an actress known for her work in film and television. On Monday, February 3, 2003, during the early morning hours, she was tragically killed at Pyrenees Castle in Alhambra, California. The crime was connected to music producer Phil Spector, and the case later became widely known around the world. Even today, Lana Clarkson is remembered with deep sadness and respect as a life taken far too soon. Judith Eva Barsi was a talented child actress who touched millions through her work at a very young age. On Wednesday, July 27, 1988, she was tragically killed at her family home in West Hills, Los Angeles, California. The crime was committed by her father, Joseph Barsi, and it later became known as a heartbreaking family tragedy. Even today, Judith is remembered with deep sadness and respect as an innocent young star taken far too soon. Elizabeth Short, later known to the world as the Black Dahlia, was an aspiring actress whose story became one of America's most infamous tragedies. Between Tuesday, January 14th and Wednesday, January 15th, 1947, she was brutally murdered in Los Angeles, California, and her body was discovered in the morning in Leimert Park. The case shocked the entire nation, and despite intense investigations, the killer was never identified, and the case remains unsolved. Even today, Elizabeth Short is remembered with deep sadness as a young life lost in one of the darkest mysteries in Hollywood history. William Desmond Taylor was a respected Hollywood director during the silent film era. On Wednesday, February 1st, 1922, at around 7:50 p.m., he was tragically found shot inside his residence at the Alvarado Court Apartments in Westlake, Los Angeles, California. The murder shocked early Hollywood and quickly became one of the biggest scandals of that time. Despite investigations and years of speculation, the case remained unsolved, and the killer was never confirmed. Even today, William Desmond Taylor is remembered as a key figure in classic cinema whose life ended in mystery. Marvin Gaye was one of the greatest and most influential voices in music history. On Sunday, April 1, 1984, during the morning, he was tragically shot at his parents' home in Los Angeles, California. The crime was committed by his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., and the shocking news left the world in disbelief. Even today, Marvin Gaye is remembered with deep respect as a legendary artist whose music continues to touch hearts across generations. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman became the center of one of the most famous and heartbreaking cases in American history. On the night of Sunday, June 12, 1994, they were tragically killed outside Nicole's condominium in Brentwood, Los Angeles, California. The case drew worldwide attention and became one of the biggest media trials ever, surrounded by intense controversy. While O.J. Simpson was charged and later acquitted in criminal court, he was later found liable in a civil court case. Even today, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman are remembered with deep sadness and respect. Bonnie Lee Bakley became known worldwide through one of Hollywood's most controversial murder cases. On the night of Friday, May 4, 2001, after dinner, she was tragically shot in Studio City, Los Angeles, California, near Vitello's restaurant. The case received massive media attention and remained surrounded by mystery for years. While actor Robert Blake was acquitted in criminal court, he was later found liable in a civil case. Even today, Bonnie Lee Bakley is remembered as a tragic victim in a case that still raises many questions. Jill Wendy Dando was a beloved television presenter, widely respected and admired across the UK. On Monday, April 26, 1999, at around 11:32 a.m., she was tragically shot outside her home at 29 Gowan Avenue in Fulham, London, England. Her murder shocked the nation and became one of the most high-profile, unsolved cases in Britain. Although Barry George was once convicted, his conviction was later overturned and he was acquitted, and the case remains officially unsolved. Even today, Jill Dando is remembered with deep respect and sadness. Andrés Escobar was a famous football star admired by millions around the world. On Saturday, July 2, 1994, at around 3 a.m., he was tragically shot in a parking lot outside the El Indio nightclub in Medellin, Colombia. The killing was carried out by Humberto Castro Muñoz, and the tragedy shocked not only sports fans, but the entire world. Andrés Escobar is still remembered with deep respect as a talented star whose life ended far too soon. Mia Catherine Zapata was a talented musician known for her voice and her impact on the Seattle music scene. On Wednesday, July 7, 1993, her body was found at around 3:20 a.m. near 24th Avenue South and South Washington Street in Seattle, Washington. She was tragically killed during a violent attack, and the case shocked the community for years. The killer was later identified as Jesus Mezquia, and justice was finally served. Even today, Mia Zapata is remembered with deep sadness and respect as a talented life taken too soon. Lamont Big L. Coleman was a highly respected and talented rapper, remembered for his powerful lyrics and lasting influence. On Monday, February 15, 1999, he was tragically shot in Harlem, New York City, near 45 West 139th Street. The attack happened during the evening, though the exact time was not publicly confirmed, and the case remained surrounded by mystery. While a suspect was identified, no one was officially convicted, and the case is still often discussed today. Even now, Big L is remembered with deep respect as a rising star taken far too soon. Jose Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy, known to the world as XXXTentacion, was a young artist whose music reached millions. On Monday, June 18, 2018, during the afternoon in Deerfield Beach, Florida, he was tragically shot outside a motorcycle dealership near Riva Motorsports. The killing happened during an armed robbery, and the case later led to arrests and convictions. His sudden death shocked fans worldwide and became one of the most talked about tragedies in modern music. Even today, XXXTentacion is remembered with deep sadness and respect as a young life taken too soon. Ermias Joseph Asghedom, known as Nipsey Hussle, was not only a respected artist, but also a powerful community voice in Los Angeles. On Sunday, March 31, 2019, at around 3:18 p.m., he was tragically shot outside the Marathon clothing store in South Central Los Angeles, near the Slauson and Crenshaw area. He was later pronounced dead at around 3:55 p.m., and the crime was committed by Eric Ronald Holder Jr. His death shocked the music world and deeply impacted his community. Even today, Nipsey Hussle is remembered with love, respect, and admiration as a true legend. Bashar Baraka Jackson, known to the world as Pop Smoke, was a rising music star whose popularity was growing rapidly. On Wednesday, February 19, 2020, at around 4:30 a.m., he was tragically shot during a home invasion at a rented home in Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles. The attack shocked the music industry and fans around the world, as his career was just beginning to soar. The case later led to arrests connected to the attackers. Even today, Pop Smoke is remembered with deep sadness and respect as a young star taken far too soon. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the most powerful and respected leaders in American history, remembered for his message of peace, justice, and equality. On Thursday, April 4, 1968, at around 6:01 p.m., he was tragically shot at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. The assassination shocked the United States and the entire world, leaving millions in deep mourning. James Earl Ray was officially convicted for the crime, but the case has also remained the subject of debate for decades. Even today, Martin Luther King Jr. is remembered with the highest respect as a symbol of hope and courage. Malcolm X, also known as El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, was one of the most influential voices in American history. On Sunday, February 21, 1965, at around 3:30 p.m., he was tragically shot during a public event at the Audubon Ballroom in Manhattan, New York City. The assassination shocked the nation and became a major turning point in history. Several men were convicted in the case, and in 2021, 2 of the convictions were later vacated, and the men were exonerated, making the case even more historic and controversial. Even today, Malcolm X is remembered with deep respect as a powerful leader whose legacy lives on. George Reeves was a famous actor best remembered for playing Superman on television. On Tuesday, June 16, 1959, between 1:30 and 2 a.m., he was found dead in Benedict Canyon, Los Angeles, California, from a gunshot wound. The official ruling listed his death as suicide, but the case has remained controversial for decades, with many people believing it may have been something else. Even today, George Reeves is remembered with respect as a legendary star whose story continues to raise questions. Pier Paolo Pasolini was a famous filmmaker, writer, and one of the most influential cultural figures in Europe. On Sunday, November 2, 1975, at around 2:30 a.m., he was tragically killed in Ostia, near Rome, Italy, at Idroscalo di Ostia. The case became one of the most shocking and controversial crimes in Italian history, and although Giuseppe Pino Pelosi was officially blamed, many questions and debates have remained for decades. Even today, Pasolini is remembered with deep respect as a brilliant artist whose life ended in tragedy. Ronald Lyle Goldman was a young man whose name became known worldwide because of a tragic and highly publicized case. On the night of Sunday, June 12, 1994, around midnight, he was brutally killed outside a residence at 875 South Bundy Drive in Brentwood, Los Angeles, California. The case received massive global attention, with O.J. Simpson becoming the main suspect, though the criminal trial later ended in acquittal. Even today, Ronald Goldman is remembered with deep sadness and respect as a life taken far too soon.